Hari Om all. On behalf of the Life Mastery Foundation, in association with the Mshlanga Hindu Society, Gujarati Hindu Sanskruti Kendra, Sri Gopal Lal Hindu Temple, and Vishwarup Temple and Dharmashala, I would like to welcome you all to day one of the 7-day lecture series, Vision of the Bhagavad Gita, in light of Gita Week 2020. Each day, Angajanji will be unpacking specific themes from the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita translates to the Song of God, is used worldwide to attain and maintain eternal spiritual wisdom, a life book that has proven to be invaluable regardless of your faith, religion, creed, or race. We are privileged to have this knowledge tried and tested and vastly researched over many years and presented to us by Sri Angajanji. The following video profile will give you an insight on Sri M.K. Angajan.
Angajan MK is an accomplished leadership and management guru, author, life coach, and globally sought-after keynote speaker. From his humble beginnings, born to a farmer in Kerala, India, the youngest of 10 siblings, his tenacious attitude and determination propelled him to overcome the harsh challenges and rural upbringings to the world-class leadership platforms.
Can you maintain the dynamism of a CEO at the same time maintain the serenity of a saint? If you are, you can claim yourself to be a successful individual.
From a flourishing career in engineering, Angajan's natural curiosity and burning desire to seek the answers to the greater questions of life, the universe, and the timeless, unchanging knowledge of the self and spirituality led him to the philosophy of Vedanta, the time-tested knowledge of life and living, which he researched and assimilated intensely for 11 years as a full-time resident in an ashram in India. He is an enthralling keynote speaker, having presided at several prestigious events and conferences on the global stage. He has coached top-notch business leaders, inspired tens of thousands of distinguished audiences, entrepreneurs, youth and students globally for peak performances, fulfilled living, and to live a life in harmony with the laws of the universe. Angajan's books Value Systems for Success and From Gods to Godhead, as well as audiobooks, CDs, and DVDs on various topics received world recognition. By introducing his exceptional courses, companies have reported a happier workplace, increased efficiency, creativity, teamwork, better communication, decrease in illness and absenteeism, and an increase in overall turnover. He has featured in many TV and radio talk shows as well as popular magazines. He has taken his philosophy to many countries across 5 continents. His scientific rationale, practical approach, and passionate presentations, grounded by wisdom, expertise, and humor, has earned him the patronage of many Fortune 500 corporations, international schools of business, and chambers of commerce internationally. Angajan follows a non-negotiable daily morning routine that he starts at 4 a.m., followed by introspection, study, research, yoga, hydration, and meditation. His morning routine also includes a natural high-energy vegetarian diet that facilitates a healthy body and mind throughout the day. Some people influence us through writing, some through their speech, yet others through their life and the work they do. Angajan influences people across the world through all of the above. Please welcome Angajan MK.
Namaskar, my greetings and salutations to one and all of you. Please join us for our invocation. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Please join us in chanting the Gita Dhyanam, that is invocations to the Bhagavad Gita.
Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam
Bhagavatam Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gatitam Purana Muninam Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayini Amba Tvamanusandadami Bhagavad Gite Bhava Dveshini. Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindayata Patra Netra Yena Traya Bharata Thaila Purnaha Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamritaduhe Namaha. Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Bhishma Drona Tata Jayadratha Jala Gandharani Lotpala Shalya Grahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula
Ashwathama Vikarna Gora Makara Duryodhana Vardini Sotirna Khalu Pandavairana Kaivartaka Keshava
Shava
Parasharyavachas sarojamamalam Gitarthagandotkatam Nanakyanakakesaram Harikatha Sambodhana Bodhitam Loke Sajjana Shatpadairaharaha Pepiyamanam Muda Bhuyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradvamsina Shreyase Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yadpripatamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavai Vedai Sangapadakhramo Panishadaihi Gayantiyam Samaka Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyantiyam Yogino Yasyantam Navidussura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Once again, my greetings and salutations to all of you who joined us on this auspicious week that we celebrate Krishna Janmashtami, and of course, it's a special day for Hindus and Indians all over the world because the commencement of the construction of Ram Mandir, the ceremony of the Bhumi Pujan conducted today. We feel really blessed and privileged to be part of it, although remotely. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Bhagavad Gita is a shastra, a scripture that has impacted humanity for many millenniums, much more than any spiritual literature that belongs to every religion in the world. No other shastra, a spiritual literature, impacted humanity for several millenniums as much as what Bhagavad Gita has done. It is said that when Mahatma Gandhi was in London, he went to the main library in London and asked the librarian, which is the most borrowed book in the library. And it is said that he brought the Bhagavad Gita. Of course, those days, the Bhagavad Gita wasn't available as much as it is now. So in these 7 days, we have an hour or so, over an hour, to analyze, I would say, 7 themes that Bhagavad Gita envisages to humanity that will bring about an incredible transformation in our personal life, in every aspect of our life. Bhagavad Gita is a shastra that helps us to change our direction from the external world to the world inside. That is where the real transformation, purification, rearrangement is necessary. Because once we make sure that our person is put together properly, you find everything else in the world comes right. Once, in a factory, there are few hundred people working. And after the long Easter weekend, when the employees and the factory workers came back to work, they found it very strange to see that the entrance gate of the factory is locked. And there was a message written on the gate, a plaque, which said that the person who is responsible for your unhappiness, who's making you unhappy in this company, died yesterday. The person who's making your life miserable in this company died yesterday, and funeral is today afternoon at 3 o'clock, and everybody is invited to pay their respect to the person who passed away. So when they read the message, some people were really happy. You know, when you're working in a company, almost everybody who's working in a company has got somebody who really gets onto your nerve, isn't it? Who really makes you unhappy, irritates you. So everybody who read that message thought, I wish it is that person. But anyway, everybody were curious, who is this person? And at 3 o'clock, the factory workers thronged at the local community hall to pay their respects to the person who died. Security had tough time controlling the crowd. So at about 3 o'clock, they opened the door of the community hall, and the visitors were allowed to go inside the hall to pay their respects. And they saw the coffin placed right in the center. And one by one, the employees, in a disciplined manner, went and peeped into the coffin and paid their respect and walked out. And as they walked out, there was a perceptible transformation on the face of each individual. Each one of them who peeped into the coffin were really moved to see who is the person who died, who was really making everybody unhappy. What happened was, at the base of the coffin, they placed a mirror. So when each one of them peeped into the coffin, each one of them saw his own mirror, his own face. And they realized that there is only one person in the world who can make your life miserable. There is only one individual in the world who can make you unhappy or happy. There is only one person who can make you irritated or peaceful. There is only one person who can help you to grow in life or the other way, and that is yourself. That is exactly one of the central themes of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, ladies and gentlemen, is the most powerful manual for practical life. whether you are religious or otherwise. One doesn't have to be a religious person. Everybody in the world needs it. I've been often asked in my travels in different parts of the world, who should study the Bhagavad Gita? What qualifications do we need to study the Bhagavad Gita? The only qualification that you need to study the Bhagavad Gita is that you need to be a human being. That's all. Everybody from young to old, everybody needs it. If you are young, you need Bhagavad Gita to learn the art and technique of living. And if you are old, you need to learn how to retire gradually and also prepare for the culmination of your life and your afterlife. Remember, your next life needs preparation right now. Bhagavad Gita helps you that. If you are ignorant, you need Bhagavad Gita to gain knowledge. If you are very knowledgeable, you still need Bhagavad Gita, the message of the Bhagavad Gita, to practice humility. If you are very wealthy, you need the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to feel compassion and social consciousness. If you are poor, you also need Bhagavad Gita to feel a sense of comfort. If you are very haughty, cocky, arrogant, you need Bhagavad Gita to give you Vani. If you are very troubled, you need Bhagavad Gita to experience peace of mind. And most importantly, if you are a spiritual seeker, you need Bhagavad Gita to help you to evolve spiritually, to transform your personality, and then ultimately reach the power, the ultimate purpose of human existence, that is God realization. So it is a Shastra that analyzes you how to bring about a self-transformation. Usually what happens is when everything is going okay, we think the world needs a transformation. Everybody thinks that way. Everybody believes that I am all right, but my spouse needs to change. If only my wife or my husband is a better person, my life would have been very happy. If only my children are very disciplined, I would have been very happy. If only my employees are honest and performing well, I would have been very happy. If only the government in this country was free from corruption, my business would have been very good. The list can go on and on and on and on. But ladies and gentlemen, it might take a little bit of your thinking to really feel that what really needs transformation primarily is yourself, and everything else comes secondary. There was a particular message that was written on the, or inscribed on the tomb of an Anglican bishop in the crypts of Westminster Abbey. And the message was very profound. And the message reads, I'm reading it out. When I was young and free, my imagination had no limits. I dreamt of changing the world. As I grew older and wiser, I discovered that the world would not change. So I shortened my sights and decided to change only my country. But that too seemed immovable. As I grew into my twilight years, in one least desperate attempt, I settled for changing only my family and those closest to me. But alas, they would have none of it. And as I lie on my deathbed, I suddenly realize if I had only changed myself first, then by example, I might have changed my family. From their inspiration and encouragement, I would then have been able to better my country. And who knows, I may even have been changed the world. The real external transformation of the world begins with transformation of oneself. That is one of the vision of the Bhagavad Gita. It is an instruction manual. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to look at our shastras, our spiritual literatures, as an instruction manual to operate the human personality. It is a manual to transform, change, modify, and operate your personality, which is the most complex mechanism that is available on the face of earth. It is far more complex than the most complex supercomputer that is available on the face of earth. After all, the so-called supercomputers are created by the human brain. So obviously the creator must be so more powerful than what his creation. Our brain is so incredibly potent. Our mind, our emotions, our ideas and ideologies. Bhagavad Gita teaches us the art and technique of managing yourself. It also gives us the art of contacting the world. So to live effectively, one has to be an artist, at the same time a technocrat. You need to be an artist in terms of relating with the world, and you got to be a technocrat of your own personality. You need to be a rare combination, a rare blend to be happy and successful in this world. It is an instruction manual, but unfortunately, people do not have the time. The problem today is that almost everybody is suffering from no time syndrome. No time syndrome. Everybody is busy. You ask a student in the school, you ask a student in the university, you ask the educators, you ask the businessmen, entrepreneurs, you ask the professional housewives. Everybody is busy. They run around the world like chicken without head. If you ask them, what are you doing? What are you busy with? Don't ask me what I'm busy with. I'm busy. Now, a lot of people claim they are running business. They are far from running business. They are actually running their busyness rather than running the business. Everybody gets so caught up. As a result, we don't have the time to invest in things that are essential. See, when somebody says, I'm very busy, you got to understand that statement. If you say, I'm very busy, what that means is that you are very inefficient. So the most efficient, some of the most effective people in the world have all the time in the world to invest in things that matters to the most. So when you say busy, it simply means you are ineffective, you are inefficient. So when you say busy, yes, no doubt you are quite preoccupied, but priorities are wrong. No time means no priority. As a result, they are deeply stressed and depressed, agitated. That is what Bhagavad Gita discusses in the very, very first chapter. The very first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is entitled Arjuna Vishada Yoga. That is the yoga of despondency of Arjuna. The yoga where Arjuna is so dejected, despondent, he's not able to handle the world, handle his challenges. Remember, our life will not be without challenges. Everybody in the world want a problem-free, a challenge-free life. You ask anybody, ask a businessman, ask an employee, they want a problem-free job. A businessman want a problem-free business. If the business has no problems, then what job do you have? When people tell me, I want a problem-free job, I ask them this question. That is, when you're working, do you get paid? Of course, Sangishinji, I get paid. Do you get paid enough? I haven't heard many people who say, I get paid enough, but they say, I get paid. Then I ask them, what are you getting paid for? For working. What do you mean working? What is your work? When you say you are working, you're getting paid. What are you getting paid for? You're getting paid for solving the problems. If the company that you're working for doesn't have a problem, which means you don't have a job, thank God they have a problem, you have a job. Thank God you people have a problem, I have a job. Otherwise, you won't log in to listen to me. Life is a continuous solutions to problem. Life is a constant solution to problems. Where there are no problems, there is no life. There is only one generation of people in the world who have no problems at all. And that is, you will find them in the graveyard. So long as you're living, you will have problem, but everybody want to run away from the challenges. That's exactly what in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is demonstrating, or I would say Sage Vyasa painted the picture of this character called Arjuna, who was the student of the Bhagavad Gita. Listen to Krishna. Arjuna, one of the outstanding warriors of his times. He had all the abilities and capacities and talents that is required to meet the challenges, to fight the enemy. But he did not have the right perspective. He did not have the right vision of his life. He didn't have the right mental disposition, right perspective. He looked at the challenges from a selfish, egocentric point of view. And he was incapable. That is the present condition of every individual. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So, in the very first verse of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna uses some of the crucial words that we'll analyze right now. We will together chant the first verse of the Bhagavad Gita.
Dhritarashtra uvacha dharmakshetre kurukshetre samaveta mamaka pandavaschaiva
Kimakurvata Sanjaya. Dharmakshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha. Now, Bhagavad Gita begins with the word dharma. And so the first word of the first verse of the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is dharma. The last word of the last verse of the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita ends with the word mama. So the entire Bhagavad Gita is sandwiched between these two words, dharma mama. Mama means mine, dharma means duty. What is my duty in this world? What is my purpose in this world? How exactly, what is my duty? How exactly do I maintain relationship with the world? The whole of Bhagavad Gita is sandwiched between these two words. So, the very first word itself, emphasizing what is my purpose in this world, what is my duty in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself this question. Do you have a purpose? Are you able to answer this question? That is, what is your why in your life? What is your why? What are you living for? Are you living merely to take care of your family? Are you living merely to run a business or work for a company? What is the foundation of your existence? The very first word of the Bhagavad Gita, dharma, is implying that. If you rearrange, if you reorganized the first two words or first four words, dharma kshetre kurukshetre, just rearrange that. Kshetre, kshetre, dharma kuru. If you rearrange those four words, we have the poetic license to do that, to echo out the deeper practical philosophy. Kshetre, kshetre, dharma kuru. Kshetre in Sanskrit means field. Even in any vernacular language, kshetre means field. Kshetre, kshetre, dharma means duty. Kuru, meaning do. Do your duty in every field. Do your duty from moment to moment. Every now and then you change your field of activity from one avenue to the other. When you're at home, you are playing the role of a wife, husband, father, mother, child, son, daughter, brother, sister. And when you leave home in the morning to go to work, You're behind the wheel, you're playing the role of a driver. When you reach your workplace, you could be playing the role of an employer, employee, or a boss, subordinate, engineer, doctor, lawyer, carpenter, accountant, whatever it is. We keep changing our field one time or the other. When you meet your friends after work, you're playing the role of a colleague, a friend. Different. So, kshetre dharma kuru, meaning in every field, do your duty. Now, how you do your duty, what mental disposition, and how do you find your duty, Bhagavad Gita is going to tell us as we go along. Kshetre dharma kuru. So, do we have a purpose? What is your why? If you are not able to answer that question as to what is your why, our life will be a waste. Those people, when they wake up in the morning, they are full of joy, excitement, vivacious, enthusiastic. Are those people who can answer that question? Mark Twain expressed it so beautifully when he said, there are two important days of your life. One is the day you are born, and the other is the day you discover why. One is the two important days of your life. One is the day you are born, and the other is the day you discover why. The first one, we are all excited about our birthday. We celebrate, we make a big hullabaloo out of it. And if your husband were to forget your birthday, it's usually husbands that forgets wife's birthday. That's why I'm talking about that. The man had it. Once a gentleman asked me, he said, Anganji, can you help me to improve my memory? I've got a memory problem, I forget. Then I started philosophizing. A lot of time people often come to philosophers and gurus and swamis, etc., to improve their memory. Very rarely you find a person, coming to us to improve their judgment, thinking. They want to improve their memory. There are a lot of courses that helps you to improve your memory. I haven't come across many courses talking about improving your thinking ability. So this person came, said, I want to improve my memory. Then I asked him, but what is that you want to improve? Be specific that I can help you. He said, no, gently, I have a tendency to forget. And then I insisted, I said, listen, don't go beat around the bush, come be specific. And then he scratched his head and he said, my problem is I forget my wife's birthday and I go through difficulty. And I'm so afraid of forgetting your birthday. Then I told him the best way to remember your wife's birthday is to forget one. And rest of your life, you'll never ever forget your birthday. So, Bhagavad Gita teaches us the ability to maintain the right contact with the world, live for a purpose. The two important days of your life, the day you are born and the day you discover why. Birthday, everybody is excited, but can you be proud to say that I've discovered what is my purpose? In life, talking about purpose, there are two aspects that we need to understand. One is the purpose in life, and the other is the purpose of life. The purpose in life is different for different individuals. The purpose of life is same for everybody, regardless of any discrimination of caste, creed, color, religion, or nationality. That is to find one's own identity, to answer the question, who am I? What is my purpose? What am I here for? The purpose in life is different for different individuals. I'll analyze to you right now. The purpose of life is that everyone is leading towards that ultimate purpose of God realization. You call it moksha, mukti, or nirvana, or whatever enlightenment you want to call it. But you got to discover what is the purpose in life. If you don't discover the purpose in life, our life will be a series of stress, unhappiness, agitation. Constant stress, unhappiness, and agitation. The purpose in life and the purpose of life. And if you discover the purpose in life, automatically you are moving towards in the direction of finding the purpose of life. It becomes natural. Talking about grief, Vishada, that the first chapter is entitled. If you actually analyze our stress, it has no basis, it has no foundation. That is why Lord Krishna in the second chapter, he says, let's see what, the 11th verse of the second chapter.
Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Ashoschanan Vashoschastvam Pradyavadamscha Bhashase Gatasunagatasungscha Nanushocanti Panditaha. Ashochan Anyashochastvam Prajnavadamscha Bhashase. I will read out the translation. He says, the blessed Lord said, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha, you have been grieving for those that should not be grieved for, and you speak words of wisdom. The wise grieve neither for the living nor for the dead. He says, Gatasun Agatasun. He gives us a prescription, an analysis of what is happening. Why do we grieve? He says, you have been grieving for what you should not be grieving for. In other words, no matter what happens to us in life, there is no need for us to go through the unhappiness and agitation if you are able to understand and accept it. See, when do we go through the unhappiness? When there is a situation that is beyond your control. If there is a situation that is beyond your control, and if you are unable to accept it, it makes you angry. It makes you upset, irritated. And if the situation that you are able to accept it, you develop tolerance, you embrace it, you develop understanding. Our mind is not broad enough to accept the circumstances. Our mind is very narrow. As a result, we reject it. When you reject it, you experience agitation. When you accept the nature of winter
that it is going to be cold, you'll feel the coldness, but you will not suffer. So when a situation that is beyond your control, if you are able to accept it, you feel peaceful. You experience tolerance. If the situation is not if you don't accept it, you get irritated. Other people's behavior, others, whatever, it can be other people's success. If other people's success, if you are not able to accept it, you become envious. Other people's success, you are able to accept it, they give you inspiration. Our ego doesn't allow us to accept other people's success. As a result, you feel envious. So when we talk about stress or grief and negative emotion, it comes in various ways: anger, jealousy, hatred, envy, fear, vanity, so on and so forth. If a situation, there is uncertainty, when there is uncertainty, if you are not able to accept it, you experience fear. The same situation, if you are able to accept it, it becomes adventure. I'm sure most of you must have gone on the roller coaster ride or any adventurous activity like that. So when you are about to go into the roller coaster or any adventure, it could be bungee jumping or whatever it is, how was your feeling as you were about to jump? There is fear. You can see the other hundreds of other people going on the roller coaster, the adventurous ride, and they finish the ride and come on the other side happy, excited that they did it. But there is a fear, but you accepted it and went on to it. That is called adventure. Fear, you accept it. When a contest, when there is a competition, if you are not able to accept it, it turns into rivalry. Rivalry, jealousy. Whereas when there is a competition, you accept it. When there is a challenge, a contest, if you accept it, it actually becomes a healthy competition. A contest, if you are not able to accept it, it becomes jealousy, rivalry. Same contest, if you accept it, it becomes competition. Competition is the fundamental principle of success. Life cannot be without competition. Every aspect of nature is in a spirit of competition. That's why they say the universe, everything works on the survival of the fittest. In mineral kingdom, there is competition. If you don't believe, you expose a piece of iron outside, especially in the Durban area, coastal area, and go and see what happens after a month. It gets corroded. There is a conflict, there is a competition between metal and nature. Nature wins. Survival of the fittest. Among vegetable kingdom, there is competition. You look at your garden, there is strife between the vegetable kingdom itself. Survival of the fittest, not to talk about the animal kingdom. And when it comes to human kingdom, you can convert the rivalry into a healthy competition. There is no need for us to live on the negative side. That's what he's saying. You have been grieving for those that you need not be grieving for. Why should you go through this stress, hatred, jealousy, anger, unhappiness? That is where the message of the Bhagavad Gita, to be able to transform our negative emotions into a positive power. Gata soon, agatas. There are two types of challenges. One is the challenges that is already over and the challenges that is coming. Gone and going. It's only two types. That is future and the past. In fact, strictly speaking, there is no such thing as present. Present is the meeting point between the past and the future. Present is the meeting point between the past and future. The moment you say this is the present, it already became past. So gone and going, two types of people. One set of people have gone already, another set of people are going. That's what he's saying. Gata soon, agata soon. Why are you grieving? We will be focusing upon the negative aspect of life when we don't take the responsibility of finding the purpose in life. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, what is my purpose? Am I merely living, or I would say existing? There is a difference between living and existing. Animals exist. They're born, they grow up, they eat, they mate, they produce children and die. Are we doing exactly that? Or are we able to live something beyond that? If you only then we are able to live up to the dignity and prestige of a human being. In order to answer that question as to how to find my purpose, Bhagavan Krishna gives us two important classic verses in the Bhagavad Gita. They are the 35th verse of the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita and 47th verse of the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, that is almost repeated verbatim with one little change of one word. That's the only verse in the Bhagavad Gita that is repeated. Why? Because it's so crucial to find our purpose. In the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, in fact, the true systematic presentation of knowledge of life and living begins from the 3rd chapter. The first 2 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita is actually preparation. And systematic exposition of knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita begins from the 3rd chapter. And in the 3rd chapter, Bhagavan Krishna tells us, and when he concludes the entire discourse, he reminds us again, don't forget this word. And what are these 2 verses? Let us read it.
Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushthitat swadharme nidhanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushthitat Swabhavaniyatam karma kuruvan purvannapnoti khilpisham.
2 of the most important, practical, and most relevant verse for every single human being in this world. Verse 35 reads, better is Swadharma, one's own duty, though devoid of merit, than paradharma, duty of another, well discharged. Better is death in Swadharma. Paradharma is fraught with fear. paradharmo bhayavaha. And he repeats the similar verse in the 47th verse of the 18th chapter. He says, better is swadharma, one's own duty, though without merit, than paradharma, exactly like the first verse, first line. Duty of another well discharged, performing action ordained by one's own nature, incurs no sin. Better is swadharma, one's own duty. Paradharma is alien nature, a field of activity which are not in harmony with your personality. A field of activity that is not suitable to your personality is paradharma. Better is swadharma, one's own duty. Swa in Sanskrit means one's own. Dharma means duty. Dharma also means nature. Dharma means righteousness. Dharma is a Sanskrit word, very short, 2 syllables, but it's got many meanings, perhaps largest number of meanings. Swadharma means one's own duty. So what Bhagavan Krishna is saying is that he's telling us to discover our purpose in life. Ladies and gentlemen, every one of us, without exception, we are all born to excel in one field of activity or the other. There is one field of activity you can be outstanding, you can be shining, you can excel. Have you discovered that field? Is your career based on your passion? One of the biggest blunders people make is choosing a field of activity just because it is very lucrative, can make a lot of money out of it. They choose a field of activity because it is a field where you can attract social status, or it is popular. If you choose a career just because it is very popular, just because you can make money out of it, just because it is based on social status, you are acting on paradharma, your alien nature. Today, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most important obligations of a parent is to help their child to discover their passion and help them pursue that passion. But unfortunately, driven by the demands of material aspirations, a lot of them choose a field of activity because it is very lucrative. Among the Indian diaspora all over the world, there's a problem. That is, a child who is a great performer academically, if they come out of metric school with 8 A's or 90+%, 95, straight away most parent thinks in terms of becoming a doctor, as if doctors are the only happy people in the world. There are so many other. There is no analysis of their career with reference to their personality. In fact, many people go one step further. Before the child is born, there's still many months to go for the child's birth.
The parents decide, I want 3 children, 1 child become a doctor, another child should become an engineer, and the 3rd child should become a chartered accountant. Before the birth itself, the parents have decided. Another set of parents say, I always wanted to become a doctor. I wanted to study in medical school and become a doctor, but my parents could not afford to send me to medical school. Therefore, you become a doctor. They have a tendency of trying to live their dream through the children. That is the most selfish way of parenting. You try to live your dream through the children without any reference to the child's personality. Is the child is capable, or are they passionate about studying medicine or engineering or whatever it is? Bhagavan Krishna says, better to die in performance of Swadharma. Better is Swadharma, though devoid of merit. Ladies and gentlemen, when you want to choose a field of activity based on your passion, you will not find immediately it is very practical. There may be obstacles and impediments. You may not be able to see immediate benefit. But if you are able to pursue a field of activity that is based on your passion, you will continue to act with joyfully. You will make it a success. It's better to perform your Swadharma, even paradharma, well discharged. Better is death in Swadharma. Choose a field of activity. And in the 47th verse of the 18th chapter, there's only one word that is different. He uses the word swabhava instead of Swadharma. The second line. The first line is exactly the same. He says, swabhava niyatam karma. Your swabhava will determine your Swadharma. Swabhava, swa means one's own, bhava means behavior. You got to very carefully observe your child's day-to-day lifestyle activity pattern. Their swabhava will determine, you will be able to determine their Swadharma. Better to die in performance of Swadharma. Now, why choosing a field of according to your passion, your Swadharma, is so crucial? There are several advantages of choosing Swadharma. Number one, most importantly, that is your purpose in life. Choosing your Swadharma. Something that you're passionate about. And if a person chooses a career based on their Swadharma, their passion, they will make a success out of it. Now, don't measure success in terms of money and fame. We make the biggest blunder of measuring a person's success based on the person's fame and money. Don't use that as a scale to measure somebody else's success. There can be many successful people in the world, unheard, unsung heroes, but they lived a very successful life. Don't change that. First of all, what are some of the advantages of choosing your Swadharma? Number one, it becomes that is your purpose. Number two, that is the field of activity you can shine, you can excel. Thirdly, your life comes with the mechanism to succeed in that field. You're born with that mechanism to succeed in that field, not in somebody else. And it's so easy to become expert in a field of activity that is your Swadharma. You will not make a mistake. There are so many other people who had a very specific career that they're passionate about. And they shifted their career and they made a mess of it. I'm sure most of you remember a typical case study of what happened to Amitabh Bachchan about 20 odd years ago. His passion, his Swadharma,
that is a field of activity that is born to shine, was acting. And he got into acting and he became successful in every sense of the term, you name it. He got the money, fame, name, recognition, not only India, internationally. And then, having caught all those, what happens is, when you do not think unselfishly, even those things become monotonous. Having become successful, he got fame and money, he wanted power. He got into politics. Indian politics, if you know what it is. And when he got into Indian politics, he failed miserably. He could not even make a scratch, leave alone making a mark in politics. And then he quit politics, got into business. He started a company called ABCL, Amitabh Bachchan Corporation Limited, and invested all the money that he earned in the business, in the movie, the entertainment industry itself. And he started off with what do you call this, fashion shows, and especially in southern part of India, like Bangalore, where it is the or Chennai or Bangalore is the hub of South Indian culture. And you have a fashion show. He attracted the fury of ladies from South India. Lost money, lost everything. He just managed to save his house. The house was about to be attached by the bank. Somebody helped him, managed to save his house, and eventually he came back to film industry and he started shining again. Yes, here is a classic example of a person who deviated from his Swadharma, his basic nature, to succeed in politics, and then in business, failed miserably. He went through all kinds of challenges, and eventually when he came back to mainstream, he shined again. That is what Bhagavad Gita says. Better to die in performance of Swadharma. Paradharma is bhayavaha, fraught with fear. Why it is fraught with fear is that a lot of people choose a career because it's very easy. Haven't you come across parents? I'm a doctor, so I have a what do you call this, a surgery that is running doctor's room, very successful. So they pressurize the child to become a doctor so that they can continue their practice that the father or mother established. While the child may be interested in automobile engineering, or it could be in architecture, or it could be being a pilot, I don't know what, it could be carpentry. Every work, every job is honorable. Better is Swadharma, though devoid of merit, than paradharma, well discharged. Paradharmo bhayavaha. What happens is, as time goes on, the career becomes very frustrating. I've come across people, lawyers, who's been practicing for a couple of decades in their 40s, are sick and tired of reading the same conveyance documents day in and day out. I've seen dentists who are sick and tired of digging the molars of people from morning till evening, looking at their mouth. So many. And it's very late in their career, in their 40s, very difficult for them to shift. Yes, they have money, but they don't have the job satisfaction. They don't have the feeling of contentment within. Ladies and gentlemen, that sense of inner contentment and success comes when we choose a field of activity according to our Swadharma. That is why Bhagavan Krishna is emphasized in the Bhagavad Gita time and again. Don't make this mistake. Again, Sachin Tendulkar, nicknamed as Master Blaster. Those of you who are followers of cricket know what I'm talking about. If my memory serves me right, he's still the youngest cricketer debuted at the age of 16 in international cricket. Brilliant performance. Tender age for cricket. And eventually, as he became mature 20s, the Indian cricket body, that is board of BCCI, gave him captaincy. Became the captain. During his tenure as captain of Indian cricket, not only his performance as a batsman, but also the quality of Indian cricket went down. He's a brilliant batsman, but not necessarily a brilliant leader. The problem today is that just because a sportsman is brilliant in a particular sport, that doesn't mean that he can become a leader. Not everybody who's brilliant in performance have the leadership ability. Talent and leadership are not the same. They're totally different. The cricket selectors failed to understand that. And they conferred him the Indian captaincy. He could not manage his pressure. As a batsman, outstanding. He's somebody who never ever reacts emotionally to sledging in the cricket. Refused to. As you know, the opposition tried to distract your focus, your concentration by sledging. He refused to. That's why he's such a brilliant performer. And his Swadharma, his basic nature is to bat, not to lead a team. When they stripped him of his captaincy, his talent, his performance as a batsman came back. I can multiply examples, such outstanding case studies to demonstrate what Bhagavan Krishna is saying. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharma tvanishtitat swadharmo nidhanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha. Better is swadharma, though devoid of merit, than paradharma, well discharged. Well discharged means immediately you might find it very easy. Better to, paradharma is fraught with fear. As time goes, you begin to find, you begin to experience that monotony, boredom. To think about next 20, 30 years, you have to keep doing the same thing. It's frustrating. Therefore, they say when you choose a career based on your Swadharma, you don't have to work a single day, because every single day is a holiday. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the purpose in life. And if you are able to fulfill the purpose in life, you are eventually able to fulfill the purpose of life, because choosing a career based on your Swadharma, it purifies our personality. You radiate happiness around. You radiate fun, frolic, mirth, enthusiasm around. If you choose a career based on paradharma, just because it is lucrative and what you call this, a social status, you will radiate boredom, monotony, sorrow. That is why Bhagavad Gita emphasizes. So having established our mission, our purpose, our goal, what am I born to live? Now the question is, how we answered how to select a career based on your passion, or how to find your Swadharma. How do you perform action? Ladies and gentlemen, there are two things that you got to understand. One is doing the right thing. The other is doing things right. Everybody seems to know how to do the right thing, but how to do things right, that requires clarification, explanation. A person who goes to who wants to build muscles, he wants to bulk up. What to do? If you ask him, Answer is simple. Eat the healthy food, go to gym regularly, every day exercise. But not everybody who goes to the gym and exercise build up muscles. Some of them are still fat and flabby or thin and wiry, despite going to the gym every day. Why? Because they're doing the right thing, but they do not know how to do things right. Bhagavad Gita explains to us how to do things right. Not only doing the right thing, but how to do things right, which we will discuss tomorrow, same place at same time at 7 o'clock. Don't go away. Wait for a couple of announcements. We'll conclude with a Shanti part, and please hold on for the announcements. Om Purnamata Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you, Angajanji, for yet another powerful and most beneficial discourse. To attain tranquility and maintain a sound mind, we need to be persistent with injecting ourselves with these teachings daily. Angajanji has made these teachings easily available to us in the form of CDs, DVDs, and books to cater for what will work best for you. It will be most valuable gift to yourself. Just to mention a few that sounds apt right now: Spiritual Laws of Self-Motivation and Success, The Power of Positive Mental Attitude, Sound Sense of Values for Better Living, The Dynamics of the Mind, and the list goes on. You can visit the Life Mastery Foundation website for more details on these readily available resources. They can be purchased either by emailing info@lifemastery.vision or contact the Life Mastery Foundation on 083 550 3634. Angajanji conducts value-based executive development workshops and seminars for many professional groups, amongst whom are senior corporate personnel, business executives, entrepreneurs, professional, political leaders, and scientists in various countries, which include India, USA, Australia, UK, Canada, New Zealand, Africa, Far East, and the Middle East, amongst others. His scientific rationale and practical approach and passionate presentations, grounded by wisdom and expertise, have earned him the patronage of many reputed corporations and organizations, including Fortune 500 companies and many business schools globally. They include, amongst others, Toyota, MDRT, USA, Australia, and UK, YPO, BP, Standard Bank, MultiChoice, Mercedes-Benz, Emirates Dubai, the Tata Group, India, Reserve Bank of India, Indian Institute of Management, ESCOM, Old Mutual, Legal Aid Board, South African Police Services, Fujitsu, Chambers of Commerce internationally. We would like to thank the Amshlanga Hindu Society, the Gujarati Hindu Sankruti Kendra, Sri Gopal Lal Hindu Temple, Vishwarup Temple and Dharmashala, and all of you for joining us on this journey of self-development. Each day is beneficial for positive change, so let's spread the word. If you know of family and friends that could benefit from these discourses, as you will, ask them to join us for the next 6 days. See you all tomorrow at the same time on YouTube Live. Hari Om.